Welcome into Caldwell Commentary. I am your host, Keegan Matheson, and we are the only televised sports show in Caldwell County. I've currently given up on growing a beard for now. Wait till I'm 25. Again, joining me, my father, Kevin Matheson from the city of Lenore.
Good to be here, Keegan. Thanks for inviting us.
We have run the gamut of all three major sports. Now, because we're doing Major League Baseball today, Pop.
Major League Baseball, repping the world champion Washington Nationals.
Washington Nationals.
Yeah, I so enjoyed the World Series last year. It was actually
a lot
the
of
fun. last four World Series have been really entertaining, with the exception maybe of the Boston Red Sox taking it to the Dodgers, but that was to be expected. But 7-game series are always the epitome of the height of the end of the season on 7-game World Series, and we've had that. So, will we have that this year? Will we have a World Series?
Let's talk about that.
know.
I think everybody wants to know, are we going to have some Major League Baseball this year?
Well, NFL's, as we've talked about, they're acting as if they're going to go on as usual. We've heard nothing, not a peep much from the NBA as to what their plans are. They just said, David Silver, that as long as they're done by Labor Day. What's his name? Is that right?
Adam Silver.
Adam Silver.
You put David Sterling.
David Stern, who I remember as with Adam
the
Silver.
master commissioner.
And they don't know if they're going to have NBA or not. It's
Right.
still up in the air. But as long as they get done by Labor Day, they say they can do it.
Right.
Well, we hope that. We've talked about that. So
Right.
let's talk Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball. So we're going to operate under the assumption that when they come back, it's about time for All-Star Game. If they start up.
Wouldn't that be fun?
We have to go on last year's stats. What we're going to do is I'm going to talk about 10 players that absolutely would make the All-Star game if we played it. Even though we've not played a single game this season, I think the All-Star game would be a pretty good way to start out the season. Don't you think?
Yeah, that would be awesome. I think it was originally scheduled for like the 14th of July at Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yep. So, hey, that's a good proposal. There's all kind of proposals floating around out there. So let's start out with proposing. Start with the All-Star team. Which, of course, as you said, they haven't played a single game this year. But, you know, the interesting thing, every year there are players that make the All-Star team that by the end of the year, they kind of faded. And they really haven't got the stats to support being an All-Star for the whole season. So this would be kind of unique. You would actually have the last half of last season's
Right.
and how they finished up to determine who makes the All-Star team. So let's hear it.
Okay, well, I guess you got to start out with Anthony Rendon.
Anthony Rendon.
Third baseman for the Angels now.
Now, moving leagues. American League, third baseman. That kind of makes it a little
Do
even.
they play in Anaheim?
Yes.
They're the Angels. So
they play in Anaheim.
In Anaheim.
Yep.
Anaheim Angels, he had a .319 batting average last year, 126 RBIs, and an MVP. Right?
Of the World Series.
MVP of the World Series.
Absolutely.
Who won the MVP for the National League last year?
National League, Cody Bellinger.
Cody Bellinger.
Who also.
Coming later.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Anthony Rendon? He's got a new team, new squad. What is he going to do with the Angels?
That gives great symmetry. They always talk about Rendon being left out so much because Nolan Arenado kind of nailing down that third base slot for the National League team. Well, he can do it again this year for the Rockies, and Anthony Rendon can do it for the American League.
Right, exactly.
That's cool.
So, speaking, you just nailed it. So I was going to talk about Nolan Arenado, and I think he would absolutely have to make the list. He had a .315 batting average, 41 home runs,
another Gold Glove,
118 RBIs. He's just a monster. If you want to make a third baseman in a lab, Nolan Arenado is your guy.
I agree. So we got the third baseman.
Third baseman's, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's going to be a good All-Star game to see that matchup.
Who else you got?
Christian Yelich.
Yes, he got an injury.
Should have been an MVP last year, but came a little short because he got injured.
Yeah, missed the last almost month of the season for the Brewers, and of course the Brewers missed postseason because of that.
Well, actually, batting
they made
average
the postseason, but
last year. This is all 2019 stats, of course.
Yeah, I don't know, 320 something.
329, almost 330. He had 44 home runs and 97 RBIs. No doubt if he would have played, it was like a month and a half that he didn't play.
Last month.
He would have had, I don't know, probably 125 RBIs. And it'd be pretty good. Pretty good stats.
Absolutely. He's been killing it over the last 3 years. He's probably the MVP. If you took the stats for the last 3 years, it would be Christian Yelich.
Christian Yelich, very good player. I love watching him play. I think he's probably the most electric player in baseball at this moment.
Yeah.
But is he the best player? Probably that goes to Mike Trout.
Yeah, everyone's kind of the
center fielder.
Also with the Angels.
Also with the Anaheim Angels. 291 was his batting average. No, not as good as
Not quite a 300 season.
But 45 home runs, 104 RBIs, and 3 MVPs to his name. What do you think about the Trout?
He is considered, by and large, by consensus, to be the best all-around player in the Major League Baseball, and he's going to get paid like that for the next few years as the best.
He'd have to be on the All-Star game. You
Absolutely.
Can't have an All-Star game without Mike
Trout.
Trout.
For the American League, and actually the American League kind of gets a little. Maybe this dovetails into what you're going to say next. I don't know. I don't have your cheat notes, but they're a little thin on All-Star in the outfield in the American League,
right?
Because another trade took place, and now Mookie Betts moved from the Red Sox to the Dodgers.
I mean, last year his stats weren't overblowing. Like it wasn't.
No, he was. He didn't have the MVP season like he did in their, Major League World Series champion season.
Yeah.
But
Mookie Betts absolutely would make that All-Star game. There's no doubt. He didn't make my top 10, but Mookie Betts would absolutely make the All-Star game.
Yeah, Silver Slugger, Gold Glove, and on-base machine. So. Another outfielder that I think of, since you're talking outfielders, that we've kind of let Cody.
Let's go back to Mike Trout real quick.
Okay,
you're a fisherman. Okay,
I'm a fisherman, Trout.
If you're going
my favorite fish.
If you're going to compare him to a certain fish, is there a certain trout that he identifies with? Come on, this is the best question I could ask you.
Oh my goodness. Mike Trout. He's from New Jersey. Native trout in New Jersey. The only one would be the brook trout.
So he's a brook trout.
They're smaller. You got to say, he's a rainbow trout. Yeah.
He's a rainbow. He's that
trout.
epic. He's a rainbow.
Yeah, brown trout's muscular and kind of stocky and a little burly. That's not really him. He's just all around. So let's call him rainbow trout. Stalked all the way around the world.
Right.
Mike Trout, rainbow trout.
Okay, so I put 2 first basemen, both in the National League, on here. I feel like both of them need to be in this All-Star game. They could probably split the time. It's Pete Alonso and Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, and Cody Bellinger has versatility.
Pete Alonso's stats for Rookie of the Year: 53 home runs, 120 RBIs
for a rookie.
That's insane. The polar bear
shattered the rookie record for home runs and RBIs.
Right.
Not shattered it, but shattered it by home runs by far for a rookie. Yeah, so he's definitely the prohibitive first baseman, I would say, favorite. In the National League. Cody Bellinger kind of presents an interesting thing. He finished up the season last year in center field for the Dodgers.
Right, so he could definitely change it up a little bit in the National League.
And he can play any position in the outfield, first base as well, so he's real versatile. But you got to have his stick in the lineup.
You're right.
Yep.
But honestly, I think Ronald Acuña center field.
Yeah, okay.
Ronald Acuña Jr. for the Atlanta Braves.
Player.
Number 13. He is a fantastic player. He only batted 280, but 280 is pretty decent. 41 home runs and 101 RBIs. And the Braves had a decent season last year. I think they were hoping for a little bit more postseason success, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I think so.
Got to get it for Freddie. Freddie's the man. He deserves something while he's there.
Freddie Freeman, first baseman. That's another good backup All-Star reserve. Had a great season last year. He actually qualified as the Silver Slugger winner, which is the highest batting average for the position in your league. Silver Slugger was Freddie Freeman.
I think we're learning that the first baseman is the most talented position in the National League.
In the National League, it's a very deep spot.
Very deep spot. Well, we talked about offense. Let's talk about defense. What do you think the best pitchers that have to be in the All-Star game?
Oh, goodness.
I'd say Justin Verlander.
Yeah, Justin Verlander won another Cy Young last year for Houston. The jury's out whether he's a cheater or, all the scandal. I don't know if I should bring that up. It's kind of the elephant in the room, though, with baseball is the Houston Astros, sign stealing, etc.
Right.
But, he's a pitcher. So some say he had a part in it, but we know he's an awesome pitcher. He's been an elite pitcher for many years, even since the days when he was with your Detroit Tigers, before he headed to Houston. Cy Young, yep. I think he's definitely on the hill for the American League, which we'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. But It may not be American National League, as you've probably heard some proposals. But I think it's Verlander, and then on the other side, if it is National League, Jacob Degrom.
Jacob Degrom, he made my list. 2.43 ERA, one of the lowest in the league. His win-to-loss ratio is not great. It's 11-8, but it's not. I don't think that could be a stat as a pitcher, as a win-loss record. And the Mets don't really have the offense that they probably should. I mean, they got Pete Alonso and what else?
A lot of utility guys and a lot of players hurt that had big contracts that weren't able to produce. So yeah, they didn't have a winning. About a 500 season last year, but that's 2 years in a row. Jacob Degrom with very mediocre win-loss percentage, but with other than that, his WHIP, his ERA, all those stats definitely worthy of Cy Young. So Jacob Degrom,
great player. The other player I had on there, my 10th player of the All-Star game, if they started it today, be Garrett Cole. Yep. He was a fantastic pitcher. Moved to the New York Yankees. What do you think about him? Yeah, what do you think about him? Yeah, he got paid.
Big time. Oh, absolutely.
326 strikeouts last year.
Yeah, by far led all of Major League Baseball in strikeouts. His teammate last year on the Houston Astros, Verlander, edged him out for the Cy Young. Both of them have the identical number of quality starts.
Why do you think he edged him out? Is it because he had the better win-loss ratio? Because he did it by one game. He had one more win. I don't know if that really counts as the
I think that was the tipping
point. I think Garrett Cole should have been the Cy Young.
I agree. I will not argue with you. I had him listed as the
326 strikeouts.
Cy Young winner.
It's pretty good.
So, all right,
20-5 record.
So that's some starters. What about some relief pitchers?
Relief pitchers?
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about relief pitchers.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Of course, Aroldis Chapman was the closer in the American League for the Yankees, and Josh Hader for the Brewers.
Me and Pop actually saw Aroldis Chapman in the minor leagues.
We did. We saw him pitch in the minor leagues when he was with the Reds organization, when the Carolina Mudcats or Cincinnati Reds affiliate. So that was pretty cool.
That was pretty
cool. And, of course, my Cincinnati Reds. I've got my Washington Nationals hat on since they moved from Montreal to Washington. I like them and enjoyed it, but I could just as easily have my Cincinnati Reds hat on because that's what I grew up.
Who wouldn't love to see another first baseman that is amazing in the National League, Joey Votto?
Yeah, the career. He had a down year last year. Hoping he could bounce back. He's had plenty of rest coming back, so we'll see.
Right. He's from Canada, right?
Yes, he is from Ontario, Canada.
How about it? Ryan Gosling, Justin Bieber, Joey Votto, Canada, man.
Oh, goodness. So, do you think we're going to see Major League Baseball this year?
I think we're going to see some Major League Baseball this year. Whether it is what we want, I don't know. But hopefully we'll see everybody in their home stadiums and all the fan bases get to actually see their team and root for their team. But it was proposed that they do it out in Arizona or even in Florida.
Right.
So it might be something like that. But if we had the choice, we definitely want to see them at their home stadiums.
Yeah. So this past Sunday, they actually had a sporting event with no one in the stands, NASCAR. They could do something similar to that. And a lot of different proposals like we talked about that do away with the traditional American League versus National League. Let's do an East versus West, so to cut down on travel. And maybe at first, with no fans in the stands, they will use Arizona and Florida, their spring training sites, as the place without fans. And then once maybe all this is lifted and we can get back to some semblance of normality and fans can be allowed back in before the end of summer, maybe head back to their home stadiums in their respective cities for certainly before the postseason. So
speaking of Arizona, we got to talk about the local boy.
Yes.
Madison Bumgarner signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks. How do you think he's going to do? there.
I think
Out
he's
in the
going to
desert.
do great in the desert air. I really do. I think that's a great place for him. None of the talking heads, almost none of them, were predicting he would sign with the Diamondbacks. The highest odds were he'd sign back with the Giants since they didn't trade him before the trade deadline last year to get anything out of him. So they maybe were going to up the ante and sign him. Others had him going to other National League places like the Brewers or the Phillies.
I even saw the Braves.
Even the Braves. And the Braves were the last, I guess being a local boy, that would be good for his fan base here.
Right.
To be with the Braves. But, they say, well, why the Diamondbacks? Well, you got to realize he's very familiar with Arizona, has a place in Arizona. That's where the Giants have had spring training his whole career is in Arizona. He just right there in the same metroplex as he had been, and they knew what they were getting with him, the Diamondbacks. They faced him every year in the same division.
Right.
So they're willing to pay the money, and he was willing to sign on the dotted line. So I think he's going to have a good year. I really do. Of course, the number of starts are going to be cut down, projected maybe 82 games at best that they're going to have, regular season games.
Right.
So that means you don't have to put as much in reserve in the tank. You can come out,
guns
firing,
blazing,
guns blazing, big guns blazing, big left hand blazing, and see what he has left in the tank. I think he'll have a good year.
Well, Pop, what do you have to say about baseball as a whole? Have any overarching themes?
Baseball. Well, it's been a sad spring. That's all I can say.
It has been a sad spring.
First spring since 1873, there wasn't baseball, Major League Baseball, in the spring in the United States. But I know
even through the major world wars, we had baseball.
We had baseball, but it took a pandemic of coronavirus to take baseball out of the springtime, and it's looking like we will have no spring baseball at all. But hopefully we'll have summer baseball.
Summer baseball.
The boys of summer, after all.
Maybe one day we'll do the predictions of when they actually have the season, who was going to win each division, and we'll talk about that, and maybe even a World Series prediction later on. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. You got anything to say, Pop?
Oh, goodness. Well, just we will get through this.
Stay
I know
safe.
everybody at home is getting a little weary of social distancing and things being disrupted and no sense of normality. But hopefully, if we can just stay the course for a few more weeks, we can see the downward trend and
get back to professional sports.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to it. Love baseball. Grew up playing baseball. That's every summer of my life.
Right.
From the time I can remember, involved baseball.
Right.
So, hey, and one of the other sad things is minor league baseball. Talking about local Hickory Crawdads, Charlotte Knights, all of the
Kannapolis Cannonballers.
Yeah, we got a new thing. So that maybe we'll talk about that, and maybe you can bring just a few of the
minor league baseball
hats.
Oh, that's you're tempted me.
We can talk about that again sometime. And,
right.
But hopefully, with expanded rosters that they're projecting, there's probably not going to be much minor league play. I don't know, but I know there's some retraction talk out there of at least 40, maybe 42 minor league teams are going to be done away with altogether. One of which would be almost every team in the Appalachian League, which you and I, we enjoy going to minor league baseball games. We've been to, I don't know how many different places. All of the ones in North Carolina, we've covered all those, and we'll talk about that. But one thing I was thinking about, and you asked me what I'd leave it with, since the Appalachian League is probably some of the lowest COVID cases, maybe there's a chance, since they were projected to be the ones done away with it, maybe at least the Rookie League, which doesn't start every year until the third week of June. Right. Maybe they can get a minor league season in, short season for the Appalachian League, and they're maybe last year and right off into the Appalachian Mountain sunset with an Appy League games. But that's what I'm hoping for. Hoping for some baseball, hoping for everybody to stay safe, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, I'm Keegan Matheson, your host. This is Caldwell Commentary, the only televised sports show in Caldwell County. Thanks for joining us on this Major League Baseball episode. Signing off.